join in a song with sweet accord, and thus surround the throne, and thus surround the throne. We're marching to Zion, beautiful, beautiful Zion. We're marching upward to Zion, the beautiful city of God. Y'all know this song? Tell me you've heard it. I know we sang it twice in the last 6 months. Here we go. Let's try again. Second verse. Here we go. Let those refuse to sing who never knew our God, but children of the heavenly King, but children of the heavenly King, may speak their joys abroad, may speak their joys abroad. We're marching to Zion, beautiful, beautiful Zion. We're marching upward to Zion, the beautiful city of God. Now you got the tune about halfway. That's my thing. I'll probably change the tune from verse 1 to verse 2, but you can follow along, okay? Go last verse. Catch your breath. Here we go. Then let our songs abound and every tear be dry. We're marching through Emmanuel's ground. We're marching through Emmanuel's ground to fairer worlds on high, to fairer worlds on high. We're marching to Zion, beautiful, beautiful Zion. We're marching upward to Zion, the beautiful city of God. Okay, thank you very much. You have a seat. Anybody have a spoken prayer request this week? Okay. Which was to have it done or not? Right. It's probably not going to hurt to have it done. Right. Yeah, that's probably a good thing. Okay. Pray for Bruce and Patty too. Bruce is doing okay. He's still working. That's what he wants to do. He wants to work. And Patty, I guess she's so tame she can't hardly lift her head up off the pillow sometimes. And her cancer's in her spine. I don't know if it's, when you say spine, I don't know if it's lower back or up in her neck or whatever. When she say can't lift her neck, I don't know what's that. But just pray for Patty. This will go well. But she took, I think she said before she's a winner either way. So, okay. Mike? Okay. Yeah. Anybody else with a spoken request? People with unspoken requests you want to pray about? Let's go. Charlie, will you lead some prayer? Okay, a couple announcements. Tomorrow, those who are scheduled to go, we leave here at 6:30 in the morning. We're going to Cass Scenic Railroad, and I have no idea what time we'll be back. I don't know what that popping time is. So try not to. We'll leave here at 6:30. I don't think we have to be there till 11 o'clock or something like that. So it gives us plenty of time. It's a 3.5 hour drive, or 3 hours 15-minute drive, and it gives us an hour to stop somewhere along the line, gas and restroom break, whatever. Tracy said there's really only one place to stop between here and there. Once you get off to get to Cowan or something like that, once you're past there, there's no stopping. You just keep going. So make sure you get gas at that point. And then Saturday, everyone's invited out to Robin Traver's farm. There's a sheet in the back. If you don't know where it's at, there's a sheet like this back there on the table. We can be out there anytime, show up anytime after 10 a.m. And we'll say go back to 3 o'clock or leave whenever time you want to. We'll have lunch together and have a lot of fun. Bring your fishing pole. They got fish in their pond. We're just going to have fun. We always have fun every time we go. It's just a fun time of fellowship. And spend a day at the farm. And they get to she's got pumpkins out there for all the kids and different things. So we'll always have a great time with that. So if you don't know how to get there, there's instructions. Okay? And then 1 month away, homecoming is November 3rd, the first Sunday in November. So homecoming is November 3rd. Travis Jordan is going to preach forth that morning, Sunday morning. And all of our regular singers in the church will have the opportunity to sing that morning. So we'll have probably 3 or 4 different songs. And then Travis is going to preach for us on Sunday morning. And then he's got a group that's going to sing for us in the afternoon. They may sing in the morning and then sing again, but we want them to sing in the afternoon. And we want Andy to sing, his wife to sing in the afternoon too, or in the morning. Doesn't matter to me. I love to hear her sing too. They sang to each other, sang at each other. They sang to each other on their wedding day. I did their marriage, their wedding, and they sang to each other. And I'd heard the song before, and I'd heard it on tape, and I'd heard other people sing the song, but I'd never heard anyone sing it the way they did that day to each other on the wedding day. It was amazing. Okay, so they will be here on that's homecoming November. I think it's November 3rd, first Sunday. Okay, anybody got testimony? God's blessed you some way you want to tell everybody about? Going once, going twice. Open your Bibles, please. 2 Kings chapter 4. 2 Kings chapter 4. I'm going to teach on something tonight that to some people is an impossibility. You'll know who these people are, or you know these people. So teach the lesson. For some people, what I'm going to talk about tonight, they look at life and they say this cannot be possible. Okay, 2 Kings chapter 4. 2 Kings 4. Those of you still looking. Okay. Okay, Charlie, what preacher we've been talking about the last 3 weeks? What preacher, prophet, have we talked about? Elijah, and that was a couple weeks back. Now it's Elisha. Okay, not Elijah. Okay, so Elijah, this is a great story about Elijah. Okay, 2 Kings chapter 4, look down verse 8. We're going to read about 3 verses, and we're going to go back to the story from last week for just a moment. Okay, chapter 4, verse 8. And it fell on the day that Elisha passed by Shunem, where was a great woman, and she constrained him to eat bread. And so it was that as often as he passed by, he turned in thither to eat bread. And she said unto her husband, Behold, now I perceive that this is a holy man of God, which passeth by us continually. Let us make a little chamber, I pray thee, on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed, and a table, and a stool, and a candlestick. And it shall be, when he cometh to us, that he shall turn in hither. Okay, stop reading with you. First of all, this is the first part of the lesson. This is a tremendous lesson to me. If someone came by your house that you didn't know, and she doesn't know that he's a preacher, she perceives that he's a preacher. I know things have changed now. Things are different now than what they were when we were kids, or during these days, right? But if someone came by your house and you said, I'm going to fix some lunch, okay? And he came by again and you said, I'm going to fix some lunch. He came by again and he said, now some of you have been to your house. I remember like the first time I went to Mark and Sue's house, they were having spaghetti. I don't know why I remember that, but and I'd already eaten at the house. He said, you hungry? And I said, yeah. And I'd already eaten, but I'm always hungry. So I can always eat again. Okay.
someone came by and they came by and came by, and she told her husband, people coming up down the road, they just feed them as they come by. And maybe people would leave some money with them. I don't know what would happen with it if they did this. Travelers don't, pack a cooler like we do today. There's not a McDonald's at every corner. There wasn't any McDonald's at that time. So it could be that people did this all the time, just feed whoever's coming by. She told her husband, there's something different about this guy. Because every time he came by, she'd feed him. Okay? And he's not alone because his servant Gehazi is with him. And so every time they come by, she feeds him. She tells her husband, she said, this is the man of God, I can tell it. She said, let's put a chamber on the side of the house. Just like something like a little room, addition on the side of the house. We'll put a bed and a candlestick and a table. That's what she said. Let's make a little chamber, pray thee on the wall, and let us set for him there a bed and a table and a stool and a candlestick. And it shall be when he cometh to us that he shall turn into. I don't think that's good. How many of you would ever take in a stranger? Anybody in here ever taken in a stranger? Anyone ever fed a stranger somebody didn't know? Anybody ever welcome a stranger at your house or give them money that just showed up at your house? Anybody ever do something for somebody that showed up at your house? No? Would you look at somebody and say, I got to do something for that person? Okay, I've done it for other people. And I say, I've got to do something. I think I mentioned that last Wednesday night. That I've met people and say, how can I help you? Jim Summers asked me to go visit one of his neighbors last night, so I went up there. We talked about Sunday. I went up there last night, and they don't get out to go to church. So there's reasons for it. And so I said, what can we do as a church to help you? I don't know if they need anything. Okay, they got a house, they got a garden, they got everything. They got cars, they got four wheels, whatever. I don't know that financially they have a need. I don't know if they have a need physically or financially and like that. But I was talking to them. They're on their porch, and there's some of the families in the yard, and I said, you tell me what you need, and just whatever it is. When you help you, we'll help you. And you don't know me. Josiah's with me. I think Josiah, because everybody welcomes me when Josiah's with me. And Josiah's playing with a puppy, so he keeps the puppy occupied, so I'm talking to adults. And I said, Jim, don't hold it against our church just because you know Jim Summers. Because he made a joke about that. But they know him, they like him, he's a good guy. And so, whatever we can do, just let me know. Okay, let him know and let us know. My name's on the track and I set you just call us. Okay. This lady perceived. When you perceive a need and you can feel it, feel it. Matter of fact, Charlie, if there's a need and you can feel it, that's a calling. If there's a need, and God places a need in front of you, whether it's a person with a personal need or something else that comes up, and you think, we ought to do something here, we ought to help that person. Someone came out of our holler tonight. A little girl was riding with her grandmother, and I was on my way up, walking up to the barn, and hadn't changed from work yet. I was walking up the barn, and the car stopped. The woman put her window down, and there she was. And the little girl waved at me. She used to live up her house. She doesn't live up there anymore. And she waved at me, and the grandmother introduced herself to me, and she talked to me for a couple minutes. She had no idea who I was, but she said she wanted to stop. The little girl used to live up her house, doesn't live up there anymore. And she said she wanted to stop. She thinks the world of you. I don't know what I've done anything for her. It's Missy's daughter, Carl, live up the hall. And I think, Joey and Missy, I don't know where did anything for except for say, she pet the horse, and she never rode the horses. She pet the horses, fed them apples or whatever, and just talked to her every time she was walking home from school. She thinks the world of you. Okay, I don't know where I've done anything, but if I know that we've stopped before. We've been to their house a lot of times before they got in church years ago. When she was just a baby trying to get her mom and dad in church. And I've been to their house several times through the years, and even after they started going to church, just showing up at their house saying, how can we help you? What can we do? And showing up or putting vegetables out there and saying, grab some of these tomatoes, because whatever. And the little girl, to the grandmother, she said, she thinks the world of you, okay? This lady looks at Elijah walking by and tells her husband, we need to do something for him. I don't know what, let's go to the room, okay? It's just a little lean-to, something on the side of the house with a bed and a candlestick and a table and a chair. Okay, they do it. So next time Elisha comes by, first part of the lesson is, you see a need, go ahead and fill it, okay? Okay. Let's read on that. Let's move on verse 11. Look, and it fell on a day that he came thither. They didn't know when he was coming. He didn't write ahead, so he was coming. It fell on a day that he came thither and turned into the chamber and lay there. And he said to Gehazi, his servant, and this first time Gehazi is mentioned, called the Shunammite, and when he had called her, she stood before him, and he said to him, so Elisha does not even speak the language that the Shunammite lady speaks. So Gehazi, his servant, is going to work in this household. He's going to be the interpreter. Okay, so Elisha's taking a nap, and he said, "Call that lady to the door." And verse 13, he said to him, "Say now to her, Behold, thou hast been careful for us with all this care. What is to be done for thee? Wouldst thou be spoken to for the king?" Because Elisha knows the king. So Elisha said, "You want to talk to the king? Get you a better place when we do something for you." Or to the captain of the host, because the soldiers come by here, they mistreat you guys or take too much money from you, because a lot of times they were tax collectors. And she said, "I dwell among mine own people." Stop reading that there. One of the greatest verses in the Bible. She said, when he said, "When we talk to the king, when we talk to the captain of the host, because these guys, soldiers come by here, I know they're rough with people sometimes. When we talk to these people for you, I can help you out." Because Elisha knows people. He's not a politician, he's a preacher, and everybody knows he's the preacher, right? And she said, "I dwell among mine own people." You know what she's saying? I'm content right where I'm at. There's absolutely nothing that I need. Okay? She needed nothing. Most Christians can never say in their lifetime, "I dwell among my own." I mean, we dwell among our friends and we dwell among our families, but I don't think most Christians that I've known for the last 40 years could say, "I dwell among my own people." There's absolutely nothing to ask for. Okay, if someone says, "Let me do something for you," we've had people at our house, cousins of mine, friends of the family, friends of the family, and cousins that have come to our house and said, "Johnny, what do you need?" Okay, one of our cousins was at our house one time, and he called from out of state the next day. He was just passing through, came to visit. My mom and dad were still alive. Came to visit. He left. He called back the next day, and he said, "Johnny, I noticed that you didn't have this. Can I buy this and ship it to you? Several $100 gift." Okay, I really don't need it. I'm fine. He really wanted. He's a good Christian guy. He said, "I really want to do something." I said, at that point, I didn't really need it. That's fine. Other people have said, "What can we do?" Okay, and I'm tickled to death when people offer. Okay. Why? I think I've been content. I'm content. I'm always looking for a new truck. Okay? I'm content with the one I have. Now, I was looking at a new truck this past week. Jared bought a new truck, so I went over. I dropped in, took him down to get his, and so while I'm there, the salesman tried to sell you something because I'm not driving a '04 Chevy. You know, I should have pulled up in that 2000 model Buick, but it still runs. I like it. And every salesman see me pulling a lot, they think I need a new one. But I'm really content. I may have to work on mine. I can't wait till Rob retires and go ask me to work on my truck a little bit more to do work for me. But the truth is, I'm content. And most people can't be or aren't. Okay? Let me ask you this. If someone came to you today and said, "What can I do for you?" You say, anybody in this room could say, "Nothing. Absolutely nothing." Okay? Kathy, we saw family this week. Carl, we saw family this week. A lot of times family, you want to say, "What can I do for you?" Most often the response is nothing, right? Don't need anything. Everyone's satisfied. But sometimes the family members come to us or come to you and say, "I want to do something." Okay? There's been people who write me, and when they say, "What can I do?" And I said, "Absolutely nothing. Give me a check." And I don't ask for it, and they said, "They're sick in your pocket." Okay? And it's okay. But I'm not going to refuse it. Okay. Turn to me to 1 Timothy chapter 6. Because she said, "I don't need anything." 1 Timothy chapter 6. In the past, I've worked with Christians that are never content. I've been around Christians that are never content. I've been in church with some Christians that are, no matter what you do for them or allow them to do in church or serve in whatever capacity, but they're never content. They always complain. I've worked with people that always complain about their wages. Okay, probably some people in this room have done this. You go to your boss and say, "Can I get a raise?" Right, "I need a raise," or "I think I'm deserving of a raise." Okay, anything wrong with that? Absolutely not. But there's a lot of people who go to that instead of going to the boss, they come complain to everybody else all the time. I've done that once or twice in my lifetime. Said, yeah, I'm exhausted. I need more money. Whatever. I've done it a couple times. I went to my boss one time and I said, I'm leaving. I got a job closer to home, more money. And he really, I said, yeah. I already took the physical for the job. I got the job for a lot more money. I could walk to work less than a mile away from the house. And he said, okay. The next day he came to me and he said, I'll match what they're paying. He called everyone else in the office. He said, tell that guy, tell your friend you're not going to take that job. I'm going to match their pay. And I wasn't complaining when I went in and told him I got another job because it's a job I applied for before I got the one I have now. And I said, I need more money. And, we needed more money. Back was a baby. And my boss called me in, called everyone else, and he said, I'll match your friend's pay. I want you leaving. I want you to stay. That's 27 years ago, 26 years ago now, something like that. Okay, let's go read on. First Timothy chapter 6, verse 1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor. You know what that means? That means if you're a master, if you're a servant, and you work for somebody else, they're the master. I don't care if it's your immediate boss or your union supervisor or your customer that stands in front of you, or it's Charlie might be the principal or the parents of the teachers, whatever, the parents of the kids. As many servants are under the yoke, count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of God and His doctrine be not blasphemed. Stop reading right there. I've known people do this. They go buy a business, or they start a business. They put all their money into this business, or they work for so long and they've got their house paid for, and they take all the equity that they have in the house and they put it towards this business. They take a loan out on their house to start this business so these other people can have a job. And once they've started the business, and they fret over the finances every week to make sure everyone gets paid, but they worry about their house payment because they borrowed against their home to start the business. I know this. Several situations I know this. You know what happens? People complain. I ain't making more money. And so there's times when those people that are on the hourly scale are making more money than the boss is taking home because after you pay everyone else first. Okay? And I don't know if you've ever been in business like that, but everyone has to get paid, right? The bills have to get paid. Okay. First verse 1 says, don't dishonor God by complaining. Okay? You really think it's that bad? Yeah, I think if you complain about your boss that has hired you, took a chance on you, and hired you, trained you for the job, whatever, if you complain about your boss, you're dishonoring God. According to that verse. I mean, a lot of people, well, John, I don't like that verse. Okay, get your pen out and get your magic marker and draw lines through that verse. Because if you don't like that one, according to what it says, as many of you are under the yoke, count their own master worthy of all honor. That means you're respectful towards him. That the name of God and His doctrine be not blasphemed. Because people, you call yourself a Christian and you complain at work and it doesn't go so well. And they that have believing masters, let them not despise them because they are a brethren, but rather do them service because they are faithful and beloved, partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort. Stuff right there. Okay? Lee Graphics, the company I work for, David Lee he's the one that put his house online and started the company. And everyone benefited from him starting the company. He hired me. His wife hired me when I walked in the door 27 years ago. Okay. He was a Christian brother. Okay. That's the way I saw him as my boss when I first started working there. But within a few weeks, I realized he's a brother in Christ. I mean, I witnessed to him. He witnessed to me. We had great fellowship together. He was my brother in Christ. He's in heaven now. He was my brother in Christ. In the I think it was 22 years from the time I started working there to the time he passed. I don't think I could complain about anything he did or said. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't let anyone else complain about anything he said or did either. Because we were partakers of the benefit. I mean, he started the company and his house was on the line. And we got to share in the profits. I mean, we got paid from it, right? We got hired in a certain wage, but so I saw him as a brother, okay? As a brother in Christ, not as the boss. Mike, you in sales. Yeah, both his sales, I became a salesman eventually. Both his sales and my sales were so good for most of that 20-year period after I went into sales. For the 18, 20 years I was in sales. The question he asked me more than anything else was, you got your clothes in your car? Because he wanted to go golfing, okay? He's a member of Sleepaholics. Come on, let's go. Okay? But we're done. You'll be done in an hour. We're leaving. Okay? Okay. We work late. We can work late tonight. We'll go golfing now. Okay? It was a great job. Okay. Partakers. If your boss is a heathen boss and you complain all the time, it's a bad testimony. Okay? If your boss is a Christian boss, you ought to support him in every decision you make. Not complain about every decision you make. You ought to see him as a brother in Christ. Okay? Charlie, that means was the principal of the school or other leaders that are over you. I don't know what the hierarchy of the education program is. It doesn't matter who the boss is. If Marshall says, I'm the boss, I own my own company. Okay? Okay. Any questions on that? Yeah, right. That's right. And your customers are your boss. And I've got like 30 customers that are my bosses now. My boss, the guys that own my company don't know where I'm at half the time. Unless they see me in the office at 5:15 when I'm trying to pack up for the next day, they don't know what state I'm in half the time. Okay? But they know I'm working. Okay? Any questions on that? Anybody see that completely? Anybody think I'm completely wrong on that? Anybody think the Bible's completely wrong on that? Okay? Let's read the next couple of verses because I think this is great. This goes along with the contentment. Okay? This goes along with the woman that says, I dwell among my own people. It's all part of that same story. Okay? It's the same philosophy that runs all through Scriptures. Okay, let's read on. We're still in 1 Timothy chapter 6. If any man teach otherwise, because there's people that teach otherwise. There's people who teach completely opposite of what the Bible teaches in these verses. Okay? If any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Jesus Christ, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words, wherefore cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings, perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds, and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself. Okay? There are people that go into a company, and I'm going to use the boss and employee on this situation. There are people that go into a company and they complain all the time. There's some call themselves Christians that do this. Okay? There was a company that employed 400 employees. It's not coal mine. Had 400 employees working there. And the company said, the union contract was up, and the company said, here's the books. We cannot give any more money. We can keep everything we have, and then we'll keep working. A couple of the union leaders came back and said, you got 2 sets of books. That can't be right. We have to be making more money than what you have on that paper. And the company said, we don't have any more money. This is our income. This is our outgo. This is what we get. So we're selling the coal for right now. This is all the money that we have. This is exact. Here's the books. Legitimately, here's the books. And they said, we won't settle for that. That can't be right. We need X more number of dollars on the out. They wanted to raise. And the company said, we will sell the company to you for $1 if you can run it and make a profit on what you want to profit for. What you want. We'll sell the company to the union for $1 if you can run the company on the wages that you're saying you can make. And the union refused to do it. To me, when I read this verse, it may teach otherwise. Consent not to wholesome words. He is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words. I'm not preaching against unions on this because I've belonged to 2 different unions in my lifetime. The Aeronautics and Space Workers Union. I belonged to a couple different unions. I'm not preaching against the union. I'm preaching against the philosophy that says, you owe us. Goes to the boss and says, you owe us. The boss says, there's nothing else there. Okay? And the company said, we'll sell to you for $1. We'll keep the assets at the end of the contract. We own the equipment in the building at the end of the contract. If you're working on the contract, you said you can do this for 3 years. And the union guys said, you got 2 sets of books. So the mine shut down because they wouldn't settle for what they were already making. They said, we're not content. Okay? We cannot be content. And I won't name the union leader. He said, you have to have another set of books. There was no other way for the company to operate. 400 men lost their jobs. The the company went out of business, sold their assets, and the union and the leader walked away saying, "Well, we showed them, didn't we?" He kept his house and his pay and his insurance, all his stuff that he had coming his way through the union. He kept everything that he had coming his way. But he said, "We showed them," talking about the company. "We showed them." That's that's a perverse mind. He is proud, knowing nothing, but throwing about questions and strifes of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmises. Perverse, verse 5, perverse disputing with men of corrupt minds and destitute of truth, supposing that gain is godliness. For the one man walked away with money, in the 4 people that he said he was representing, 400 people, he said, all lost their job. Here's the last verse, verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain. Look here. You can't beat somebody that is godly to begin with, has a walk with God, a relationship with God, and a content with life. There's nothing that they have to have. They don't need what everyone else says they need. There's not something. We look at the car. We look at the new car in the showroom or whatever. We look at that stuff. We may lust. I do. I lust after the new truck or whatever it is. But the truth is, there's nothing that we absolutely need. Are you content? Here's the question: are you content? Completely satisfied, content? You say, "Man, God's been good to me, and I can't complain about my boss or anything else that's happened." Okay. I'm content, she said. Godliness with contentment is great gain. Let's go on. Let's go back to 2 Kings in just a minute. We're going to go back into that. When Mary walked in where Jesus was, and she anointed him with oil, very costly ointment, she anointed him for his burial, okay, before he was crucified. Who complained? Anybody know who complained? Judas. Judas. Why? Because he carried the bag. John, like you read through the book of John, I don't think John ever did trust that guy. Okay. Judas complained. That could have been sold for X amount of dollars and the money given to the poor. And John said he only said that because he carried the bag. He wanted to carry, if they'd have sold that expensive perfume, he would have got the money, got to carry it in the bag. He might have been skimming a little off the top. Okay? Okay. How many think you have to have money to be content? Anybody? How many think making money makes you content? How many think poor people are content? Anybody? You raise your hand there, so you're scratching. Okay. Does it have anything to do with finances? Does contentment have to do with finances? Or does it have to do with the joy that's already on the inside of you and seeing what you have? Tammy got this thing, when we first got married, put on the plaque, put on the wall, says, happiness is not getting what you want, but wanting what you have. Okay? And at that time, we didn't have anything. We still don't. Okay? But we're content. Okay? Now, there's a lot of people who think that poverty is contentment. I don't think poverty is contentment. Okay? There's billions of people in this world who make less than $2 a week. And how many think they're completely content with their poverty? Anybody? Okay. When Mary anointed Jesus and Judas complained about it, he said the money could have been given to the poor. Of course, he wanted the money. Jesus said the poor you have with you always. Is there people today that you know that are poor today that were the same people who were poor 50 years ago, 40 years ago? Like families that right now they're poor, but you knew them 40 years ago, they were poor then, right? We know people like that, right? But there's other families, because we live in America, where other people take an opportunity, and the other people that were poor then and have wealth now doesn't make them happy, but they have stuff. But there's some people that are content in every area. But how come? Okay. 30 years ago, I was told, I heard this in the news, that if you take all the money that we get, that the United States has given away free to people that refused to work or didn't work, from 1940s to 1990s, you could buy from California over almost all the way to the Mississippi River. You could buy everything with what would be given away in welfare programs. How many think the people that receive the welfare programs are content? You know, some of the most miserable people in the world that never worked a day in their life, and they've always had money, always gotten money, or okay. And there's no contentment to them because no matter what you give them, preaching this 2 weeks ago Sunday morning, no matter what you give them, they're still not going to be happy, right? There was some presidential candidates on a platform a couple weeks ago, and they said, the question was asked to these guys, how many of you think we should give free health care to every illegal alien that comes across the border? Every one of them raised their hand. Okay? How many think that's going to make those people content by giving them free health care? What if you give them free housing? Will they be content then? What if you give them free food? It wouldn't be right for us to let those people starve, right? It wouldn't be right to let them go without health care. It wouldn't be right to let them sleep outside if we can give them housing, right? How many things are going to make them content by giving them everything in the world? Okay? All of our ancestors came from somewhere back in history time. I know people that have come over that are first generation Americans that came to this country, took 7 years, become citizens, and they've worked for everything they have, very content with life. Christian people too. Okay, they've been here for 30 years now, whatever, and they're very content because they didn't come looking for a handout. They came looking for a job. They heard the American dream, and they got a job, and they worked, and some went to college. They got a house. They got businesses. Okay, and they're content. They're contented Americans. They live the American dream. Okay. Any questions on that? So the poverty doesn't make anybody content, does it? The riches don't make people content. Neither one. Okay? Okay. The contentment comes from within. Okay. Back to 2 Kings chapter 4. If you heard last week, we read the first 7 verses where God multiplied what the woman had. She had a pot of oil in her house. A widow woman had a pot of oil in her house. Her sons were going to be sold for a debt. And Elisha told her to sell the oil, to pour the oil into other pots, and they sell the oil and they pay the debt. If God can multiply a pot of oil, then God can reward a contented. First 7 verses, God can take one pot of oil and multiply it to feed these people, right? The first 7 verses, he can do that. Next 7 verses, he can take a contented woman, godly woman. He can take this contented, godly woman and reward her for her diligence. Reward her for taking care of Elisha. Okay? So Elisha's laying in the house. Gehazi called the woman to the door. She comes to the door, and Elisha says, "What do you want? Can I talk to the king? No. Can I talk to the soldiers? No. Captain. Don't need it. I'm content. I live among my own people. Don't need anything." So she went back. Elisha said to Gehazi, "What's she need?" And Gehazi said, "They don't have any kids. They're getting old and they don't have any kids." I mean, that's going to make her happy. She's already happy. But Elisha didn't realize that they didn't have kids. He couldn't hear the conversation. He couldn't understand the conversation her and her husband were having, about wish we had children, So Elisha said, "Call her back to the door." So she came back over to the door, and Elisha speaks to Gehazi, and Gehazi translates it to her and says, "This time next year, you might have to do it. Okay? God's going to reward you for your diligence because she's a righteous, contented lady, doing good." If God can make a pot of oil last a lifetime for somebody, or during Elijah's day, make a little bit of cornmeal and oil, make bread for 3 years or 2 years, whatever, through the drought. If God can provide for those people, He can do a miracle for this lady to give her a child, right? This time next year, she'll have a baby. And she did. Okay? She has a child. Okay, and read verse 14 and 17. Because there's more to the story. We'll read the rest of the story next week. Verse 14, he said, "What then is to be done for her?" And Gehazi answered, "Verily she hath no child, and her husband is old." And he said, "Call her." And when he called her, she stood in the door. And he said, "About this season, according to the time of life, thou shalt embrace a son." And she said, "Nay, my Lord, thou man of God, do not lie unto thine handmaid. Don't tease me about this thing, because that's the only thing I really want was a baby." And the woman conceived and bare a son at the season that Elisha said unto her, according to the time of life. Okay? Exactly as the preacher said. Okay. A couple things in the story. One is, when you see a need, like this lady did, fill it. Okay? Well, Brother John, I'm not going to let strangers in my house. And I'm not telling you to let strangers in your house, but you see a need, you can stop and fill that need, fill that need. If you just somebody on the side of the road, or your neighbors, and you think, what can I do? Okay? How can I help them? Ask them. Second thing, content, godliness with contentment is a great game. It's one of the greatest words. I jokingly say that buffet is the greatest word in English language, right? Micah, I take you to the best one in the world. Best buffet. The truth is, content in things is, I don't need anything. God's been awful good to me. And if you look at it in the right way, and God's blessed every one of us is here. Every one of us God's blessed. You can look at it that way and say, no, I deserve more. What's that? What do we deserve? We deserve hell. Right? God gives us grace and so much more. Right? Any questions? Comments? Are you content? You see needs? Let's pray. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for loving us. Thank you for giving us to us. I pray to bless our church family. Help us to see the needs of others and reach out to them. And like this Shunammite woman did with Elisha and Gehazi, that she did something for them beyond what they were expecting. They weren't expecting anything. And she built a room inside the house for them. Help us look at others and say, what can I do? And fill the needs of those around us. Thank you, Jesus, for loving us. Rachel, help us be content with our wages and content with everything else in life that you've given us. Forgive us where we come short. Forgive us where we complain. We all do it at times. Forgive us where we complain. Where we complain at work, or at home, or at church, whatever's going on. We don't think things are going the right way. I pray your blessing with us with the contentment of seeing your will and asking you to work through us. And I pray you bless us. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen. Thank you, Jesus.